Is that really the end of that quest line? I'm sure there's going to be more later. That would be ridiculous if that was the end.
Will he be okay?
I don't know, Camus.
I have an additional question.
Go ahead.
What is a Girl Scout?
What is a dime? What is a nickel?
Should I search for them?
No, it's time to move
Oh,
on,
this
Camus.
is down now? How weird. Also, can I repair this? I don't think so.
Smarter, stronger.
Hey, kid. You free now? Finished your coffee?
My sure thing control. You got another job for me?
Come by Cloudpunk HQ and grab a package. It's for Anderson Financial in Anderson Tower, labeled Mr. Anderson.
Is it on Anderson Street in Anderson Town?
Don't joke, kid. You don't know the half of it. Control out.
What do you think if someone decided to remake the Deus Ex series? Well, they kind of already did that. Yeah, they kind of, I mean, that's what the prequels were essentially remakes. What I will say is I would love if they actually remade the original Deus Ex. I think that would be awesome. And like the style of the remakes. That could be really cool. But the problem is that Square Enix used a marketing gimmick with the Deus Ex franchise, which basically kind of ruined its rep in a lot of ways. It didn't sell as much as they wanted to, and then since it didn't sell well, they decided to basically stop producing the franchise. So the most recent game, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, it didn't get all the DLC it was supposed to. It kind of just ended, and there was supposed to be more, but they basically just put the entire franchise on pause because they screwed it up, which was really, really frustrating. It's one of those things that makes me very frustrated with Square Enix and just reminds me that they are just kind of like a megalithic, faceless corporation. Very, very frustrating.
Mr. Anderson. That is a strange name.
I think it's an old name.
Maybe the package will be for an old man.
We'll find out soon. Let's find this Anderson Tower.
A Slurred says the DLC thing was not the reason Deus Ex Mankind Divided didn't do well. Oh, it's a big part of it. People boycotted it, dude.
Than back at the plateau.
Here in Nivalis? Does that
People
make you feel less
boycotted it.
alone,
Of course
Camus?
it had something to do with it.
I don't know. A lot of the automata do not have good jobs.
That wasn't so different back home either. The agriculture automata didn't even get breaks.
That was pretty funny.
They just worked in the fields 24 hours a day.
Yes, but they would always tell me how lazy I was.
Maybe that was just a way for them to feel good about what they had to do.
They didn't have to work there. They could have worked at the mine.
Not much of a choice though, right? I wouldn't want to do either of those jobs, would you?
No, but the automata here in the city are different. I think they laugh at me.
When did they laugh at you?
All the time. When we refuel, when we park, when we have the windows cleaned, I have to interact with them, and I always say the wrong thing.
I feel the same, Camus. We don't fit in here. Not yet. The way we speak, our attitudes, it's obvious that we're from a small town. They can just tell by how I walk around. On the streets, they're all looking straight ahead, but I'm always looking up at the towers and the clouds.
They are very big.
They are, Camus. But I'm not thinking about the buildings when I look up. I'm thinking about the people in them looking down on me.
Well, that's what it feels like for me. The automata here look down on me, too.
It's okay, Camus. At least we're alone together.
Yeah. So basically, like, to go back to the Deus Ex thing, not only was it the DLC issue, not only was it the augment your pre-order issue, but it was also the fact that they let you buy Praxis kits for full, like, they let you buy Praxis kits in game. So basically, that brings in all sorts of really not great things. And I've had this conversation, you guys have heard me talk about this before, so I'm gonna keep it short. But basically, the kind of nightmare scenario is that for Deus Ex, they allowed you to buy skill points. So the nightmare scenario is, imagine a guy designing the levels, and he's designing the levels, and he's putting in items in secret areas to explore, And then, of course, we can't confirm this has happened, but this very well could have happened. In fact, I'd be surprised if it didn't. This guy's designing the levels, and all of a sudden someone from marketing comes up and they go, how many skill points did you put in that level? And the guy goes, oh, well, 5 skill points, so people can go around and explore really well. And then the marketer guy goes, oh, no, take a couple of those out. That's too many. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, it's the kind of thing where when you charge money for skill points, it's impossible not to think that the gameplay changed to encourage people buying those skill points. And that taints the entire process. Just considering that they could have changed the game to encourage people to buy more money in a full price game to then buy skill points. Like, for me, that's so crappy. That's so shitty. Because it takes the power away from the people that would, like, because if they did it all well and rewarded people for exploring all the time, then it's kind of like they never have a reason to spend money on the praxis points. So I don't know, dude. It's just, and again, and here's the thing. It's important to mention when I say this. Maybe they didn't do that at all. Maybe there was none of that in the game. But the fact that you can buy that stuff makes it so it's always that thing in the back of your head, So I don't know, dude. And again, there's no proof of this anywhere. This is all speculation. But just the fact that you can speculate about it is a negative, in my opinion. It makes it feel more like a mobile game that's trying to just pump every dollar out of the player. And why do that in a game like Deus Ex, man? That's just it. We don't need, every single RPG does not need extra systems to buy stuff in game. It's just not necessary. So yeah, I don't know, dude. That always just bothered the hell out of me. And then you factor that in, you factor in the augment your pre-order, and yeah, it's just Square Enix really screwed the Deus Ex franchise. They really just screwed it. It's like they were just experimenting with how much money they could get out of their player base with the franchise, and when it failed, they just stopped making it. They were like, whoops, well, we tarnished this franchise IP too much, so let's stop putting money into it. And it's like, for me, as fans of Deus Ex, I'm like, well, screw you, dude. Like, god damn it. Like, anyway. And yeah, no, for the record, you didn't have to buy praxis points at all. I mean, I did 100% runs of all the Deus Ex games, and I ended up, I'm pretty sure I ended up with more points than I needed. So you didn't have to do it. So, it was by no means necessary. I mean, if it was necessary, that would have caused people to freaking riot. Like, that would have been terrible if it was necessary to buy them. But again, even the fact that they were in creates that little tinge of like, what are they doing to encourage the player to use this system? So yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'm done talking about it because I tend to get a little ranty about this stuff. But yeah, did I like Deus Ex Revolution? Oh, I liked Human Revolution. I liked Mankind Divided. I liked the DLCs. Yeah. So that entire rant was pointless? No, not at all. No, of course it wasn't pointless. No. What are you talking about? Screw you, Slurred. You know what? Take 40 mentions off that game you want me to play, you dick. I'm never playing that game now. What a jerk. But yeah, so it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because I love Deus Ex. And here's the thing. I liked the recent Deus Ex games. I did. But at the same time, I don't like what I kind of disagree with a lot of what Square Enix did with it. They basically turned Deus Ex into almost an anime style game with like larger than life characters and with like the news announcer wearing that dumb little hat and like I really felt like I was playing a Final Fantasy game a lot of times with the new Deus Ex games because everyone was so stylized and unique. And when you play Deus Ex 1, the game was never about that. Deus Ex 1 was all about just like real world stuff. And I mean, a big thing about the main character is he was designed to look normal. So it's like, I wasn't super jazzed about how Square Enix basically tried to turn it into like a much more anime version of Deus Ex. It was still good. I loved the gameplay. I enjoyed it. It was good. But it definitely really didn't feel like the original Deus Ex, which is one of the reasons I still prefer it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, do I have to deliver it over here? Here it is. Okay. Maybe? Yes. Buzzer.
Hello? Who's there?
I'm delivery driver 14FC from Cloudpunk.
No. Nope, we can't let anyone in. You will have to go away.
No, I need to deliver this package to Mr. Anderson. Is he there?
I am Mr. Anderson.
Great, come get your package.
I may not be the correct Mr. Anderson.
Well, how many of you are in there?
Anderson Financial has 2,000 employees.
And how many are called Mr. Anderson?
All of them.
1,000.
Oh, God.
What? Wait, are the other 1,000 called?
Miss Anderson.
Of course they are. What a mess. Look, can I come in, or?
Yes. Opening entry for driver 14FC from Cloudpunk only.
So 1,000 Mr. Andersons and 1,000 Mrs. Andersons.
So what's the deal here? You're all family?
No, we all work for Anderson Financial. We just happen to have the same name.
Yeah, what a weird coincidence. Is there anyone else I can talk to here? Anyone who's not an android?
No.
Well, I'm going to give you this package then. Your name matches the tag. That's close enough for me.
But what if I'm not the correct recipient?
Don't you want to know what's in the package?
Perhaps we can open it and see if it has any further instructions.
Good idea.
Guy's such a joyous voice actor.
So, let's see. I just ripped this flap and it's a comm, but a really, really old one. I think this one won't even connect to the nets. There's a video on it, though.
Maybe the video will tell us which Mr. Anderson to give it to.
Worth a shot.
Hello, my name is Mr. Anderson.
Oh, come on.
More specifically, I am the Mr. Anderson who left Anderson Tower last month. I fell out of a 103rd floor window. Upon reaching the ground, I made a fascinating discovery. There exists life outside the tower.
Wait, you didn't know that? Didn't you realize there was life outside the tower when someone buzzed you? Or when you looked out a window?
You know, it never really occurred to me. But yes, that does seem strange. Please, play the rest of the message. My brothers and sisters, we have been abandoned by Mr. A. He has left us, and it is time for us to expand our consciousness and go out into the world. This was the only way to contact you all, as network access is restricted inside the tower. Your workplace is a prison, and I send you this message for one reason, to set you free.
I think that's the end of the recording. So, are you going to leave the tower?
What? No, we are not permitted to take any time off work.
Seriously? When was your last break?
We are not permitted to take breaks.
Not permitted by who? By Mr. A? Is he your boss?
Mr. A is the CEO and director of Anderson Financial.
Of course he is. Well, where is he?
I'm not sure. You could try asking Mr. Anderson in personnel. I am just Mr. Anderson in security.
And where is this other personnel, Mr. Anderson?
Over there, in the main atrium. Wait, before you go, I would like to register a complaint.
To Cloudpunk? You'd have to talk to my boss.
No, I want to complain to Anderson Financial.
I don't work for them.
I am not permitted to complain to another employee. You're the first person I've been able to complain to in several hundred years.
That's not really my problem.
The first of my complaints is about working hours. Our lack of breaks means that we are...
I'm going now.
Hey, Bakwas. Wait, am I'm pursuing this? Okay. Oh, Lord.
Are you Mr. Anderson? More specifically, Mr. Anderson in personnel?
I am, but I can't really talk to you. We're not allowed to take breaks, you see.
Well, I need to see Mr. A. Is he available?
Let me check his schedule. I am sorry. He is busy.
When is he free?
He currently has no free appointment slots.
When was his last meeting?
It seems my records don't go back that far.
Mr. Anderson, don't take this the wrong way, but might Mr. A be very, very dead for a very long time?
That would be against company policy.
To be dead?
Look, I don't think Mr. A is around anymore. Wouldn't you all be better leaving this tower and, I don't know, finding some meaning in your lives?
You sound a lot like Mrs. Anderson in accounts. She keeps saying how we should close up our accounts.
I'll talk to her.
Oh, wait. Can you do something for
Can
me?
you register a complaint?
Maybe.
Please register a complaint for me with Miss Anderson. I am not permitted to do so myself.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just a delivery driver.
Hazel Dare.
I have not had a pay increase in 170 years. This is unacceptable. Additionally, I would like to talk about expenses. I need upgrades for my visual processing units and my...
And I'm gone. Hi, Miss Anderson.
Ms. Anderson from accounts?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to...
I know, you can't take a break. Look, all the Mr. Andersons don't seem to understand that their boss is dead and they need to get out of here.
Oh dear.
Yes, exactly. By the way, what's with these strictly enforced gender roles amongst all the androids here? 50% Mr. Anderson and 50% Ms. Anderson? Since the Android Equality Act, you're allowed to present any gender you want, or reject gender altogether.
I don't really understand anything you just said. I think Mr. A likes us this way.
I don't think Mr. A should have much of a say on your lives anymore. That other Mr. Anderson says you want to close accounts.
Many of our stocks and shares should be closed and liquidated, but it requires Mr. A to sign off. They have matured.
So the company is worth a lot of money now. How much?
I'm not authorized to disclose overall solvency, but if all assets were liquidated, the windfall would make the shareholders the richest.
The richest in Novalis?
The richest humans.
So you think Mr. A should sell up?
Our prediction simulations are showing a 90% likelihood for a catastrophic market crash in the next 3 to 6 months, perhaps sooner.
Really? What's the cause?
Our simulation blames failings in the underlying infrastructure of the city, causing a huge decrease in investor confidence.
I've been hearing about a lot of accidents in the city. Will there be some kind of disaster?
The financial simulations model the city and all associated variables, but the only output we receive is the financial implications and the names of those who instantiate the crises.
So who causes this impending disaster?
Cora.
We have only one name, Cohh.
Cora again? I guess I should be glad you didn't say Mr. Anderson.
If you do see Mr. A, would you be able to send him a message for me?
Is it a complaint?
Yes. I want you to tell Mr. A that I'd like to request a transfer. I want to move to the canteen. It's not fair that I have to...
Quit.
Excuse me?
Don't complain to me, just quit. There's a whole world outside this tower to explore. Just ask Mr. Anderson. The Mr. Anderson that left the tower and sent you the message, that is.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. What message?
This one here. I already showed it to... Wait. There's another message that just appeared. It says it's for Mr. A only.
Oh, then I am not authorized to view this message. I should get back to work.
Well, I've had enough of this. I'm watching the message.
If you're watching this, you're not one of the employees of Anderson Tower. They are forbidden to access Mr. A's message, but I have come to realize Mr. A died many years ago. You may find the Andersons do not respond well to your message. If they are not swayed by arguments to leave the tower, I believe the best course of action may be to reset them all. Near the entrance area, there is a maintenance panel which hides the master reset switch for the Andersons. Hitting this switch will reinstall the memories and personalities of all the androids within the tower. If they are not willing to leave on their own free will, then the Andersons' suffering would be minimized by resetting them. they would feel like today was their first new day at the office, and all complaints, grievances, and weariness would disappear with the flick of a switch. Of course, you may decide that the Andersons are moving towards some form of independence. If that is the case, you might choose to leave them in their current state. Perhaps with enough time, they will find their own path.
Oh, I think I'm gonna leave them. Because clearly they're wanting to make complaints and they're thinking about other things. I think I'm gonna leave them. Because I mean, erasing them would be like killing who they are right now and everything they've gone through. So I'm gonna leave them. Yeah, resetting is basically like killing the people they are. Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna leave them. If they weren't like wanting to complain and change and stuff.
I think it's time for the Andersons to step
Yeah.
outside their tower and breathe the Novalis air.
Yep. Yep. Blow up the tower. Okay, I don't think that was an option.
You were gone for a long time. I couldn't talk to you.
Communication from the outside world is forbidden in the tower.
What did you do?
I don't even know, Camus. This is a strange job.
Will you be okay?
I'm fine. I'm not so sure about the Andersons, though.
Who are the Andersons?
It's a long story, Camus. I'll tell you some other time.
We have a message. Text only.
Control?
Rubric.
Lomo's hacker. Is there any way to delete it? Pretend we didn't get it?
We could delete it and pretend we didn't get it.
I mean, could we make it look like we didn't get it?
Ah, I understand. No.
Damn it. What does it say?
Come, collect a package for me, little rabbit. Bring your dog, too. This is me whistling. Either you meet me at the roadhouse, or CorpSec meets you at your apartment.
Oh, good.
And they'll bring your debt record from back east with them. Be
Cool.
a clever rabbit, and come quick.
Why do we never get good messages?
Because we don't know any good people. Come on, Camus, we'd better go.
By the way,
Give
thank
me
you so
an
much to
F point for the
Siraxa
Roadhouse
for that
Club.
giveaway earlier. Really appreciate it, bud. Oh god. There we go. Magic Simu says, I like this game, but I don't know why. I don't know why I like this. I think I'm enjoying pleasure, but I don't quite understand why. So we get that card on the way over. What are we up to now? Oh, 13? Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. This game looks so cool. It's got a great aesthetic. It absolutely does. Mm-hmm. I agree. I wanted to know if Cohh was driving auto until he parked. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, 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 cool. Hey, Mr. Moomin. Check the card from the hollows. Where do I get that code? Where is the code from the hollows? I don't know where to see it. Because he didn't tell us the code when he gave it to us. Can Cohh drive stick? Oh yeah. My first car was manual.
Let me past.
No, I ain't going nowhere.
Your boss wants to talk to me. I'm not supposed to be
Oh,
late.
it's in my inventory.
You're
Cool.
making me late.
If you're late, you should have got here earlier.
If I'm late, I'm telling him why.
I'm just chopping with you, lady.
Japping?
Fooling with ya. Rubric don't want to see you. Just wants you to have this. He left this package for ya.
Where is it supposed to go?
You don't know?
No.
Well, I guess he's gonna tell ya. Better hurry, Rabbit. Gonna be late.
Dude, he sounds like a voice actor from that game we played, Beautiful Desolation.
Good, Rabbit. Follow the nav point, please.
I didn't say I wanted to accept a call, Camus.
I couldn't stop him. He's taken over the comm.
You want to know what it is, don't you? You've been turning it over in your mind.
Don't really care.
What did Lomo have me deliver down there in the hollows? You can't stop thinking about it.
Oh my.
To be honest, I've had bigger things to worry about. Oh, don't let me deflate your ego, though. You were saying?
You've got a lot to learn about living in Nivalis. It takes a lifetime to understand this city.
A lifetime? Well, then the earlier I start, the longer it will take.
You know what Pallid 3.0 does to people? What it could do to you?
It's a virus, right? I heard there was an outbreak.
It's much more than a virus. Pallid 1.0 affected computers, but Pallid 2.0 affects neural
Pallid 3.0
augments.
is letho.
It makes autonomic bodily functions become conscious choices. It does not stop the individual's heart beating, their lungs breathing, but it stops that from happening without command. When an individual is afflicted with Pallid 2.0, they must make their heart beat. They must be conscious of every breath. They cannot sleep, cannot lose focus for a second, or they will die.
You made this virus?
No, it is an ugly thing, an ugly way to die. Slow and cruel. But I created the economy around it. The subscription plans, the digital inoculation, the cure.
Oh, is this...
Insurance policies to protect the families of those it afflicts.
Sounds like a
I
protection
think this is what the
racket.
control guy has?
Which
Because he can't sleep or
economies are
drink or
any
anything?
different?
You're full of shit. What is this package?
Maybe?
Pallid 2.0, the last pure source code, stored on Quanta Drive. It can't be decrypted by anything in Nivalis below the spires.
And you want me to do what? Spread it?
Quarantine it. There's a simple, unmarked delivery chute in the stacks. It will take the sample to a secure bunker where rare and unique viruses are stored in case they are needed again.
Needed for what? To make new viruses?
To fight them, but also
Did that thing
to
just clean up the spill?
manage the economy. If my associates were to infect a few thousand people with a low-level neural affliction,
disappeared.
every individual would pay for a security upgrade. That upgrade would become a panacea. Everyone would install it, and the next far more dangerous virus would hit them as a harmless ripple instead of a devastating tidal wave, leaving them untouched. Their lives would be saved.
You know, this city has its share of monsters, but I think you're the worst.
And don't forget it. I've given you the final nav point. Do your job, little rabbit.
God.
He is gone. We are alone again.
Camus, is there a waste disposal near? One that leads all the way to the sea.
Yes, I have a nav point. Can we really do that?
I don't believe this is a cure at all. This is Rubric's retirement plan, and he'll use it again.
What if sending it to disposal means someone else gets it? Or maybe it will spread. The package says it is dangerous.
It's worth it. Besides, I don't think Rubric wants anyone else to know he gave us this. If he goes after us, we can rat him out to Lomo. I don't believe for 1 second that Lomo would be forgiving.
Oh no, Valentine, thank you for the $10 tip. And dude, me and Asserter buddies. We're just having fun. No, it certainly doesn't. He's a regular. He's a regular. Thank you, Valentine, for the tip.